The definition of insanity is doing the same fucking thing over and over again and expecting shit to change. Now that is crazy, and that is what Ubisoft truly needs to learn. Well, the first time I heard this line was in the gameplay demo of Far Cry 3, and it just captivated me so much that it convinced me to pre-order the game. And I ended up loving the whole experience. It has since become one of my all-time favorites. Since I created a separate PS account for collecting platinums, I thought why not revisit the world of Far Cry 3 and see if it's still any good. Before starting on the journey, I visited my trusty trophy guide website to check if there was any fishy trophy that I should keep my eye out for. The game has a total of 44 trophies, of which there are 30 bronze, 11 silver, 3 gold and that shining platinum. Everything looked very straightforward and easy, so I wasted no time jumping into the game. We play as Jason Brody and are on a vacation with some friends in Bangkok celebrating our younger brother Riley getting a pilot's license. We do skydiving and end up landing on an island full of pirates and get captured by Vaas, who's the leader of the pirates. Luckily, we are with our older brother Grant, who's in the army and helps us escape. We learn how to throw rocks to distract guards and try sneaking out of the pirate camp just when Grant gets shot by Vaas. We then run into the jungle, accidentally making our first kill and fall off a bridge, which cuts to that classic Ubisoft intro, earning our first trophy. Well, if I remember correctly, these intro sequences were fairly new around this time. Anyway, we are saved by Dennis, who recognizes our potential as a warrior and gives us a tatau, which is basically a sign of the Rakyat warriors and is associated with different in-game abilities. He tells us a bit more about Vaas and helps us to get started on our journey to find our friends and get the fuck out of this island. We are tasked into learning some basic game activities like climbing the radio towers, gather plants to make syringes, killing animals cause fuck veganism. Just kidding, I'm vegetarian by the way. We also get more tataus, unlocking new skills. Well, we need to get all of the ink as there's a gold trophy for getting all the skills. Ubisoft should practically give me this trophy for free at the start of the game as I have the tatau in real life, which clearly didn't stand the test of time, just like this game. Well, in my defense, there's Baka in my name for a reason. Anyway, we get some intel on Lisa being held in one of the outposts and rush towards it and have to clear up the outpost, which is another in-game activity that hasn't changed 11 years later. Well, again similar to the tatau, there's a trophy for clearing out all the outposts. Turns out that Lisa escaped the camp and Dennis has found another one of our friends who's at Dr. Earnhardt's house. Also, after completing each outpost, we unlock a few targets, assassination missions and hunting missions, both of which I really like. We complete our first assassination contract, which gets us an easy trophy. We also get bagged and tagged for completing a hunting side mission. Up next, we got Hunter Hunted for killing a Komodo dragon who was after some goats. Well, I made sure afterwards that his hunt was respected by killing him goats. Just like the outposts, synchronizing with the radio towers unlocks supply drop missions and completing one of them gets us road trip. In these kind of games, my go-to playstyle is to complete all the extra side stuff before moving on with the main story. So I was hunting a lot to craft more equipment upgrades. Crafting 5 of them gets us artsy crafty. I was also completing all the outposts and clearing out an outpost silently got me unheard. I would also like to touch upon the collectibles in this game before I forget. There are 3 kinds of collectibles: memory cards, lost letters and relics. And there's a trophy for collecting all of them. So I was making sure to collect everything as I went along. Luckily, we don't have to collect all of the 120 relics and collecting 60 is enough for the trophy. Up next, we get inked up or getting 5 tatau skills. We also get Rebel with a Cause next for freeing 3 outposts. There are these special hunting missions which lets us kill rare animals which are a bit tougher than the usual ones. We hunt down a rare golden tiger using a bow and arrow which gets us Poacher. During a random mission, we get Island Paparazzi for tagging 25 enemies and then get Jungle Journal for unlocking 50 entries in the Hunter guidebook. Honestly, all these trophies were popping one after the other and I wasn't going out of my way to work on any of them. Since I wanted to collect the relics right from the start instead of relying too much on that end game grind, I decided to buy treasure maps from the item shop. and got money to burn for spending around $5,000. Up next, we get needle exchange for crafting 25 syringes and full bars for activating 9 radio towers. I repeated the entire process of completing the side activities till I got all the equipment upgrades done and unlocked most of the weapons in this island. Oh yeah, for those of you who haven't played this game, we need to complete 2 islands, but more on that in a bit. Also, right after I unlocked the flamethrower, I was trying to burn as many enemies as possible, as there's a trophy for burning 50 enemies with the flamethrower. Up next, we get aftermarket junkie for buying all attachments and skins for a weapon. Okay, with all that extra side shit out of the way, let's jump back into the main story. We head to the doctor's place and find Daisy there, who's really sick, and the doctor requests us to get a magical mushroom which can help cure her. Well, if you're familiar with any of the Ubisoft titles, then I bet you know what's coming next. Daisy is alright, and we convince the dog to let our friend stay at his place and unlock a story trophy. Up next, we figure out that Vas is keeping our friends at the Pirates Cove, where he's gonna film and ransom them. We head to the Pirates Cove, taking care of anyone who tries to stand in our way, and well, turns out our friends aren't here anymore, and we get knocked out by surprise. Vas sees our Tatao and escapes with Oliver right before setting up the building on fire, leaving us and Lisa inside it. We manage to free ourselves at the right moment and end up escaping the building and shoot down a lot of pirates. Completing this mission gets us worst date ever. We leave Lisa with Daisy in a cave located underneath the doctor's place, where Daisy is trying to fix an old escape board. In order to find our friends, we ask Dennis for help, and he tells us to meet Citra, who can help us unlock more skills, or Tatao. We go to Citra, who treats us like a bitch and asks us to have her homemade jungle cocktail, which was some good shit. We figure out that we need to find a man in a white suit, as he can help us find a mystical dagger. Dennis gives us some new ink and we unlock another story trophy. We go to this shanty town where we see the man in white, who doesn't spot us right away. Turns out he's Willis Huntley, an undercover CIA agent who's after Hoyt, Vas's boss. He tells us to do him some favor, and in return, he'll help us out in our quest. Up next comes one of the best missions in the Far Cry series, where we burn Hoyt's wheat fields and kill off enemies, while Make It Burn Them plays in the background. This mission was so cool that they tried to recycle it in both Far Cry 4 and 5, but sadly, it couldn't get the same results. Up next, we get the location where Oliver will be taken to, and we have to snipe off the pirates while Ollie makes an escape. Honestly, the first thing this motherfucker says is, "Nice tats, man." Saving him gets us hands off my stoner. We then meet Buck, who likes to fuck, who has our friend Keith. He wants us to find a dagger we saw earlier when we were tripped out in exchange for Keith. Since we were already supposed to find it for Citra, we agree, and thus begins a series of missions, finding different artifacts, getting us one step closer to the dagger with each mission. I wanted to craft a special syringe for one of the missions, and crafting it gets us the good stuff. Also, during one of the missions, I get Never Saw It Coming for performing a zipline takedown. Finally, we get the dagger and make it back to Buck, who was almost about to fuck us and Keith. We have a QTE style knife fight with him, and we free Keith, which gets us retake Wall Street. Keith tells us that Riley, our younger brother, is dead, and the bloodlust to kill Vas and Hoyt grows within us. We go back to Citra and return the dagger to her. We are then tasked to free some Rocket warriors, and well, we get captured by Vas again. Honestly, I don't think this game would have been the iconic game in the series without Michael Mondo. I mean, his voice and portrayal of Vas is just perfect. Well, we learn the true meaning of insanity and get owned by him 2 times back to back.
Oh, fuck you!
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
We somehow get lucky and cheat death, getting a trophy, and return to Citra, who now gives us another round of that jungle juice. We trip out again and have to fight off this giant monster while she recites the history of the monster and the island. Well, turns out that she was fucking us while telling us the story. At least that's what I used to think as a teen. But now that I played the game again, it looks like Jason was fully clothed, and I guess she was too, and Jason never closes his flies, so I'm not sure if they were fucking. Anyway, we are all psyched up with that last shot and go to Voss's party only to get owned by him again.
Surprise, motherfucker! You didn't think I knew you were coming, right? I am so disappointed!
At one point, I had burned almost 50 enemies, which got me Heartless Pyro. We get stabbed by Voss and get into this trippy fight with him, which ends up with us killing him, which gets us another story trophy. But turns out he never died, and it was all a dream sequence of sorts. Honestly, this is the point where the game always finishes for me. We bid our friends goodbye and meet up with Agent Willis, who's leaving the island. During the mission to protect him, I killed an enemy with a repair torch, which got me improper use. We fly with him towards Hoyt's island and jump in the middle to get 2 trophies: higher than a kite for using the wingsuit and free fall for falling more than 100 meters and live. After reaching the island, our goal is to find Sam, who's a spy in Hoyt's army. Before moving further in the story, we unlock a whole new map with more radio towers, weapons, outposts, and side activities, so I was on it again. We get Love the Boom for blowing away 4 enemies, Rock Always Wins for fully distracting 25 enemies, Toxophilite for killing a target who's 70 meters away with a bow, Say Hi to the Internet for finding a head on a beach, Island Liberator for clearing all outposts, Memory to Spare for collecting all the memory cards, Dead Letters for finding all the lost letters, Fearless or Stupid for diving around 60 meters, Poker Bully for winning $1,500 in poker, which was a huge grind. For this, I basically made a save every time I would win and would reload every time I lost the money. Up next came Archaeology 101 for collecting all the artifacts. Okay, so with all that extra grind sorted, we jump back into the story again. We meet Sam, who tells us to disguise as a new recruit in Hoyt's army, because obviously no one knows what Jason Brody looks like and only identify him through his tattoo. Well, we get our new outfit and see Hoyt in action. At this point, I had enough skill points needed for the final upgrades, so I wasted no time in getting fully inked. We go through a series of missions where we try to gain Hoyt's trust by exposing the traitors in Hoyt's ranks. Sam introduces us to Hoyt and he tasks us to interrogate a prisoner, while a prison guard is clearly watching a video of Jason and his friends chilling on the beach. Well, turns out that the prisoner is Riley, who clearly doesn't recognize us right away, and we beat the shit out of him while Hoyt's turned on. Well, he's so happy that he invites us to a poker game with Sam and we get a trophy for completing this brilliant mission. We go with Sam on a couple of missions before the game to destroy all of Hoyt's radio operations so that we can surprise him. Well, there's a big plot twist here, and he knew how we looked all along and kills Sam.
Foster? Jason Brody? Whatever your name is, it slipped my mind. How stupid do you think I am?
There's that trippy QTE style knife fight again, and we kill Hoyt and his men, unlocking Poker Night. Up next, we have to save Riley, who's held captive at the airport, and flee with him on a helicopter. Well, for some reason the game just bugged out here and I would always die in the helicopter section even after lowering the difficulty. I basically reloaded an old save to do the Hoyt mission again, which somehow fixed that bug and we make it out alive. We find out that our friends are being held captive by Citra, and we go to the temple where we get drugged again and now have to choose between maintaining our sanity by saving our friends or killing them and going completely insane. Well, I chose to kill my friends and fuck Citra. Just kidding. We save our friends and Dennis accidentally stabs Citra, and well, we escape the island, getting Water Trip and unlocking that platinum. I know this game's not perfect or anything, but it's still one of my favorites due to nostalgia and shit. Well, if you have made it through here and liked this video, then do hit that like button, comment below what titles you would like me to platinum next, and please subscribe to my channel as it really motivates me to make more content. Well, with that out of the way, see ya.